can you stop going on appointments? So let's say that you're a real estate agent in your business today. When can you no longer, or when can you stop going on appointments? Well, I'll answer the question and then you guys can weigh in on it. But my answer might be a little bit different than yours. You can stop going on them anytime you want to, but understand there are consequences for those kinds of things. So when can you stop being a salesperson, going on appointments and doing that? I'm like, you can do that from the very beginning. You can decide when you open up your company to not do that. Elon Musk didn't do it when he started Tesla. Like, he didn't do the technician work there, huh? But there are consequences for it. The difference between Elon Musk and your company is that he got $500 million from the federal government to start Tesla. Right? You're not getting money from anyone. So that means that you're subsidizing it from the appointments, right? So you go on appointments, it generates cash, that pays your personal bills, and you try to invest some of that money back into your business. That's a long build out. Whereas Elon Musk can start Tesla from zero with $500 million. And in less than a decade, he's the richest guy on the planet. And some of you guys have been at this for 20 years and you're not the richest person on the planet. Not, you know, you got it. Some of you guys have been doing it for 10 years and still don't make $1 million a year. So you get where I'm going with it. So it's undercapitalized, underfunded. That's a bit of an issue. So when can you stop going on appointments? All right. That is a really good question that we should identify today. All right. So let me ask you guys that question from another angle. Is your business up or down over the same time last year? You don't have to answer that in the chat, but answer it. Is your business up or down over the same time last year? Okay. Now, let's say that it's down. We'll deal with those people that say it's down a little bit first. Okay. Well, why do businesses go down? Like, why do we lose momentum? Because if it was up and it went down, we could all agree that when it was up, we didn't increase momentum so it wouldn't go down. Because we know the marketplace is going to do all kinds of weird stuff every few years, right? It's going to go, supply and demand is going to be a constant flux, right? No big secret there. So when your business is where it is, how do you guarantee that it's going to continue to keep going up and not go down? It's a good question, right? So it gets back to this concept of creating momentum. All right, now let me give it to you straight. Craig Proctor did not stop going on listing appointments until he was probably earning somewhere in the 2.5 million range. That was me. It was probably in the somewhere around the same thing. I don't remember the exact day and time. I can't tell you guys that. All right. But one of the things I see too many Craig Proctor members do is they stop going on appointments and their business is not even earning $500,000, let alone $1 million or $2+ million. Why is this important? Because you need momentum. Plus, who's going to train your sales guys? So let's talk about that a little bit real quick. This will give you just some practical things, practical advice. Why would you go on an appointment? Okay. Number one, your company needs customers. So you would go on an appointment to guarantee that you're making your best effort to get customers, right? All right, next. What else do you need? Money. All right. Need more of it or less money? Less of it. When you delegate appointments to other people, if they're insufficiently trained, you're not going to get as much of the business as if you were doing it, and you're going to make less money because they're insufficiently trained to get as much money on the deal as you would get. Okay. Plus, they may overprice the property. You get a little better price, so you end up with a longer sales cycle. So it becomes more expensive. So how do you fix that? Shadowing. So the reason you would go on appointments is so that you know in the future you're not going to go on appointments, but your people have to be sufficiently trained. So you're going to take people with you. So my best salespeople, okay, I can name them by names. I remember who they were. And they shadowed me on a lot of appointments, a lot. Janice did it for 7 before she ever went on her own on an appointment. So I didn't go on the appointments necessarily because I wanted to. I went on them so that I didn't have to go on them in the future. And at some point, I just turned around and didn't have to go on them anymore. You got to decide when that is for you. Okay. But let me remind you guys, you need 15 OSAs, give or take, for this $4 million gross commission income business to be a thing, give or take. Okay. 15 OSAs, 3 ISAs. You're going to make about $4 million in gross revenue without you going on any appointments. Okay. So there's a transition gap in there somewhere. All right. What else? All right. How many of you guys have this problem? You go out on you bring on a new salesperson, you bring them on and they quit 2 months later. You guys ever had that? Type into the comments in the chat here if you've hired a new salesperson and they quit you within 60 days or 90 days. Type into the comments chat if you do that. Go ahead, and it's okay to say that. Okay, so how can you overcome that or keep that from happening? All right, so this is how Craig taught me to do it. Okay, when I would go on an appointment, I had a new salesperson, they went with me. And the salesperson would say, hey, why do I need to go on an appointment with you? I'm not doing listings. I just do the buyers, Todd, and you're going on a listing appointment. And I'm like, well, pause there. Firstly, that's the same thing as saying that's not my job. And we don't do that here on our team. There is no such a thing as anybody here saying that's not my job. All right, so pause there. There are 2 things for me personally, just giving you guys some good advice, that would get you an early exit for my super profitable sales team. You can conduct your business how you want to, but I'm giving you my best advice. Clock watchers and people that say that's not my job. That's an early exit. Okay, those people never worked out. And I would have a sit down with people that have those kinds of attitudes. So when the salesperson would say, why am I going to go with you on that listing appointment, Todd? Because I don't do listings. I would remind them, just say that's not my job. All right. That's what you're saying. We don't say that here. All right. At some point in the future, you will be. Okay. Just trust me and come along. So sales guy comes on the meeting, new OSA. Okay. I get the listing. Through the course of getting a listing, the person I'm talking to, guess what I know? They need to go buy a house. All right. So I get the listing paperwork signed. All right. I start talking about the buying process. Then what? Okay. I look over here and I say, well, that's the reason I brought along my agent with me today, Mr. Tim. Okay. Tim's a specialist in that area and price point that you're looking for. Right, Tim? Tim says, yes. And I'm like, yeah. So what just happened? I listed the home. I gave the seller to Tim, brand new agent, just got there within the last 2 weeks. Now, guess what's happening? While this is a come get me. All right. So while Tim's going through the training and the onboarding processes, he's going to have essentially a guaranteed commission check now. All right. Which if he doesn't get one in a short little while, he's not going to be able to stick it out. There's no income. So that's another reason. You got to be very, very, very good at making sure that when you bring on new people, they are going on appointments with someone who's doing exactly what I talked about. So over time, Tim now is going on listing appointments, and that's all he does. New agent goes with him. The new agent gets that seller as the buyer. That's the process. But all of these people had to be sufficiently trained. And I'm just telling you, my business ended up in the $2 million to $3 million range before it was fully replicatable and people were sufficiently trained so that it worked without me all the time. I'm not saying I was going on appointments every day, but I might be doing 1 a week, maybe 2 a week. So don't be so quick to exit, but be quick to work on your business that way. So what you used to see is like pain in the ass going on an appointment. You know, when you really want to, really don't want to, flip it up a little bit. Say, no. This is a training mechanism. All right. I'm going to guarantee my business has customers. I'm going to guarantee it has cash flow. I'm going to guarantee that my new agents have customers. All right.